Hello, good afternoon, good evening, and good morning for everyone who just joined us right now. It's Thursday, December 7th. Today is December 17th, 2020. My name is Mary Apollo. I'm the host of For Direction. And also, we are moving forward with our discussions for the end of the year topics. And today we are going to talk about education. Education opportunities overseas education opportunities. Also, what is the meaning of education? How do you choose education? And also, why is education matter for each human being? Uh, what kind of opportunities that available for people who are inside the country or outside the country? And also, when it comes to opportunities of overseas education, what opportunities are available for each person, and how can people get this kind of opportunities? What does that need to prepare for overseas education, and the training, the courses? What do you have to be equipped with, and why also overseas education is important? So we are going to discuss this in our today topic. I'm joined by a special guest I have with me here, Chandra Shekher. He's the founder of CHSH, Affordable Overseas Study Consultant, PVT Limited. Welcome, Chandra.
Thank you, Mary. Good to see you after a long time.
Yeah, nice to see you. Yeah, it has been quite a while since 2016 and
Yeah,
Ohio
yeah,
Catering Foundation.
yeah, that's right.
Yeah, first, okay, congratulations for starting your company, CHCH.
Thank you,
CHSH. Yeah,
thank, thank you.
thank you. So we start our discussion. What is the when we talk about education? What comes to mind?
Education, I think, is an essential requirement for any society. I come from India, which is the second most populated country in the world, and education has to play a very important role in the growth of a society, in the development of the society, in the evolution of the society. So education plays an important role. I mean, does not necessarily means academic education. Okay, I mean, we get
Mhm,
education through our surroundings, through our family. Education plays a very important role.
mhm. So when we talk about the overseas education opportunities, also, what does that mean?
See, I mean, a lot of students from Asian countries, African countries, like even all over the world, students go abroad for higher studies. Okay, for example, students from Canada go to US,
Mhm,
and students from India go everywhere around the world. I mean, there are more than 200,000 students from India who are currently studying in US. I mean, since you're based in Washington D.C., I mean,
mhm.
there is a strong number of Indian students in US. Also, for example, in Canada, the highest number of overseas students are from India. In Australia, Indians are the second biggest group of students, overseas students. Uh, so overseas education can be a life-changing experience because you get chance to detach
Mhm.
from your normal surroundings, and it's a process to learn in an international environment. You get to meet people from all parts of the world, and some of your prejudices
Mhm.
about colors, about religions go
Yes.
away. I mean, for example, I mean, I met people from different parts of the world, and I had certain prejudices
Mhm.
which went away when I got to spend time with people from different parts of the world. From, for example, Pakistan. I come from India. There are a lot of negative emotions about people from Pakistan, and we know very little about Africa. I mean, I had I had an African room partner when I was studying in from Cameroon. I mean, he was from Cameroon when we were studying together. So that way, I mean, it was an eye opener for me, and I thought everyone should get a chance to study abroad because it can be a life changing experience. And I started this company with this idea.
Mhm. So when you are talking about this exchange experience, so it's not just academic experience, also it's related to social and cultural experience.
Yeah,
Is that?
see, Mary, I mean, if you have to read a book, I can read the same book in India
Mhm,
and I can read the same book in US. Okay, the most important part of going abroad for higher studies is the experience in totality. Okay, one, let us talk about experience at a very micro level.
mhm,
You become very independent. You have to discover yourself, in your new surroundings. Now, as human beings, for example, my perception about myself or my self image in India is different. But when I go to US, my self image changes. It changes in relation to the place where you are. So it's a process of self discovery at a very micro level. And it also tells you about your strength to adapt in new environment. And then it also helps you in understanding different cultures. Like you have certain misconceptions about other countries or other cultures or other religions. So I think overseas studies is a great way of developing understanding. I mean, I knew very little about the Arab world, and
mhm,
I got to stay with people from Yemen, so it was a great way to understand about what happens in the Arab world. People from Cameroon, South Africa, Uganda. I
mhm,
mean, it was a wonderful opportunity.
mhm.
So,
So I just have a question here. Like, when someone, for example, come abroad to study in the United States or outside the country, and they still have this misconception about a specific race, about a specific nationality, and the person doesn't feel comfortable to interact with the person, what do you advise the person to do in this case?
I think we focus too much on learning. I think unlearning is important. Okay, when you're going to a new environment, be ready to unlearn. Okay, some of the wrong things you may have learned in the past. Um, have no prejudices. I mean, be open to new influences. Uh, uh, like be ready to accept. Uh, I think when you're going abroad for higher studies, you should focus on the experience of the diversity of the world rather than your own country or race or religion or culture.
So, for example, studying abroad, what kind of skills the person need to have in able to be qualified to apply for abroad overseas education?
See, the basic requirement is academic background. For example, if you're going for an undergraduate degree, you should be a high school graduate. If you're going for a master's program or a graduate program, you should have a bachelor's or an undergraduate degree. And language skills are important. You should be like good in English
Mhm,
or what language you are taking up as medium of instruction. So I would say, your academic background, your language skills, these are the two most important requirement, and also funding.
mhm,
Okay, over education can be very expensive, so planning is very important.
mhm.
And I mean, if you can plan well in advance, then I think you'll be better off.
So when you talk about funding and also the tuition fee, how that work?
See, like I mean, since my focus is mainly on India, India itself is a huge market. For example, about 700,000 Indians are currently studying abroad. Okay, and this number is constantly increasing. Now, most of them they are self-financed, and now in most of the countries there is a procedure to get loan, although it is very bureaucratic education loan. Um, some students can also get funding, okay, because there are thousands of scholarships all over the world. Okay, so if you have a good academic background
Mhm.
and you can prepare a good application, then you can also apply for funding. There are a lot of funding opportunities also, because education funding is a part of diplomacy of many countries. For example, US gives lots of scholarships. Okay,
Mhm.
that's a part of an outreach effort to reach out to different countries. Similarly, UK does that, and Germany does that. Now, Germany is the biggest economy of European Union. Germany does a lot of funding. France does a lot of funding. Okay, so funding is also possible, but again, planning is the key.
Mhm.
Is the key. Otherwise, overseas education can be very, very expensive.
Okay.
Yeah.
Uh, so I think here they talk the role of this education coach.
hmm
Uh, what is the education coach do? How does the work? I know you're also education coach on.
See, like I would use the word guru. Okay. Now you need someone who can mentor you, because someone who's experienced. Now I got a chance to study abroad for the first time. I went to UK on a scholarship to study filmmaking, and that happened because I met someone. I mean, I had a colleague who went to UK on a scholarship. So she helped me with the application, and
Mhm.
she took out a lot of time, and I realized, how important she was for getting me this scholarship. Okay, helping me in writing the statement of purpose, essays, and everything. And I mean, that made me think that it is important. If I wish if everyone who
Mhm.
aspires to study abroad can be coached. Okay, how to prepare the documents, and how to plan, how to manage finances. The role of a coach is very important. Okay, because a coach can help you in preparing your application, in getting scholarships, and also, I mean, a coach can give you tip how to adapt when you move to a new country.
Mhm.
A coach may have contacts in that country. For example, if you're going to London for higher studies, okay, a coach may have contacts there, which can make your life comfortable in the initial days. So the role of coach is very important. He or she can advise you with making the right career choices. Okay. So the role of coach is important. I mean,
Mhm.
you will save on your effort, time, and money if you have a good coach.
Mhm. Just right now with the technology and all the world is moving virtually.
Mhm.
How does the role of the education coach become important, and what other kind of method that they are using now?
See, technology can only complement. Technology cannot replace actual human contact. For example, I mean, every university has an environment. For example, the environment of MIT cannot be replicated, if you're sitting in front of a computer.
Mhm.
Okay. Yeah, so, when people come together, I mean, physically, there is synergy. Um, I mean, the role of coach has become slightly easier, okay, with the role of with technology. For example, I mean, India is a huge country, and I'm mentoring students who I have never met. Okay. And most of the time, this mentoring is happening over the phone. I mean, WhatsApp calls or sometimes video chats. Yeah.
Okay. Tell me about your company, CHSC, Affordable Overseas Study Consultant, PVT Limited.
hmm
Talk to me. How did the passion come for you, and why you choose the word here, overseas, and also
Affordable. Okay. Now, see,
affordable?
the key word is affordable. Now,
Okay.
when most of us think about overseas education, we think that it is expensive. Okay. I mean, I come from middle class. Okay, and India has a huge middle class, and
Mhm.
I think in many countries across the world, you will see the emergence of middle class, okay, not just in Asia and Africa also. But the general perception is that overseas education is not affordable, or it is expensive.
Mhm.
So the idea of using the word affordable was to tell people that yes, you can afford to go abroad for higher studies. There are
Okay.
several I mean, there could be scholarships, there could be countries where tuition fee is low, but the cost of education, I mean, the tuition fee is low. For
Mhm.
example, Germany. I mean, yes, US is expensive, but there are many countries in Europe which can offer you same quality of education that is
Mm.
available in US.
And why did you choose these countries? The one that you have in the list: UK, Germany, Finland.
See, these countries are predominantly popular with Indian students,
Uh-huh.
and yeah, that's why I chose this country. But we are flexible about it. I mean, it is based on the requirement of a student. Okay, so we are flexible with it. Yes, I mean, there are countries which we mentioned on the website,
Mm.
but we are happy to cater as per the needs of a student. For example, I am planning a venture called Study Abroad Helpline for You.com. It will be a 100% online venture. And we might be advising someone from Uganda wanting to study in South Africa, okay?
Mhm.
Or someone from, say, Egypt wanting to study in Turkey. So I think, there should be multiple choices, okay?
Mhm.
I mean, next year we are planning to start this venture called Study Abroad Helpline for You.com. We will broaden the scope of our work when we do
Okay.
that.
So some of the services that you provide, from counseling, prepare application, and also preparation for IELTS or TOEFL, and
Hmm.
interview preparation, and the scholarship,
Hmm.
uh, scholarship assistant, and also you give the some session for pre education, or the person pre classes. Why
Hmm.
this service is still important to the person, to the client, to get it in the country before moving abroad?
See, orientation is very important, okay? And orientation will save you energy and time. For example, IELTS is a requirement, okay? IELTS or TOEFL. I mean, TOEFL is mainly required if you want to study in US, but IELTS is mainly required for universities in UK, Canada, Australia. Um, so I think preparing for it is important, okay,
Mhm.
because you save time and money and effort. And orientation is important because, again, I mean, you do not want to get stuck in a new country, okay? So, remembering small things, for example, how to get a SIM card when you reach a new country, okay?
Mhm.
So all these orientations can help you a lot, okay? Or if you're traveling to UK, you should carry a small umbrella with
Mhm.
you, okay, from India. I mean, because just imagine you've just landed in London and it's raining outside, it is cold, um, and you
Yeah,
cannot get an umbrella, okay? So all these things are small, but they're important.
yeah. How did you come with this team? Like, for example, someone who can help in IELTS preparation or TOEFL, someone who can help that and assist also in doing the application work. You have a full team of doing all this. How
Yeah,
did
yeah.
you?
We have a full team, and I have recruited people. Most of them are experienced. Okay, and we have some people who are freshers, so they are being trained. Since I was lucky enough to travel around the world, and I got to study at different universities around the world, so I'm training them based on my experience. Mm, So I think, I mean, the idea is to provide complete coaching solutions to the students who want to
Mm.
study.
Mm. So when, for example, programs like fellowships, exchange program, and also master degree or PhD programs,
Mhm.
is it important for each person to do these programs overseas?
No, see, again, it's a matter of choice, okay? I mean, you don't have to do things over choice, but if we look at some of the prominent leaders, for example, I come from India. Gandhi studied law in London, okay?
Mhm.
So what happens? I mean, it is just a recommendation. Overseas study can give you a new perspective, okay?
Mm.
It will give you a very international perspective, a very globalized perspective. And we are already living in a global world, okay? So globalization I don't think it is going to be reversed anytime soon. Uh, it's a matter of choice, but I would strongly recommend if you have an opportunity, take a fellowship abroad,
Mhm.
go for a graduate study. Uh, Even if you cannot do it, take a short-term course.
So there is a question here, like the fellowship. If you are talking about the education model, because different countries have different model that work for these countries and different policies that they have adopted. So when it comes to the fellowship, how do you see that? For example, someone is coming from India or in Africa to do a fellowship in the United States. And United States or Europe, they have different models that work for the country. So is
Mhm.
it beneficiary for this person to go back and apply this knowledge under the ground?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. See, I'll tell you something. I think being able to apply the knowledge is very important. And for example, again, as I told you, I can only talk from my personal experience
Hmm.
that
Yeah.
I was able to apply the knowledge which I gained during the fellowships or my studies in UK. I mean, I was a fellow in US also.
Hmm.
So I think that experience I was able to use back home also. I'm
Yeah.
still using it. Okay. I mean, although my organization is for profit, but whatever I learned is useful.
Hmm. So, for your experience from traveling abroad and moving to different countries, and also people still have a perception about Indian are good students, they are smart, they are the one who are reliable. Right now, they have more opportunities in the global market. What was your role look like? What were you trying to tell the world about India?
See, I think, whenever I travel abroad, I see myself as an ambassador of India, okay, because I'm representing my country. Um, so, yes, I mean, I get to hear a lot of good things about India and a lot of bad things also. Uh, I mean, I'm open to criticism. Yes, there are flaws in our system, in our society. And interacting with people when you're traveling abroad is always an opportunity to reflect
Mhm.
on the shortcomings and strengths of your society. Um, so, I mean, whenever I travel, I always believe that I come from a country which has a long and great history, and so I want to live up to the expectations of the
Mhm.
name of my country. Yeah.
Mm. How do you see envision the future of your organizations or people who are also like coaches who are doing the same work and like you?
See, Maddie, I'm very optimistic about my organization. Even during the pandemic, we have been expanding. Okay. I think I have personally learned about digital technologies
Oh, that's
and
good.
we are expanding. And India is a huge market. And I mean,
Mhm.
like I have lived in different parts of the world, but I think India is the country where the future is. A lot of young people, and yes, there are a lot of poor people also,
Mhm.
but strong middle class. So I see my organization growing, although it's a for-profit business, but eventually we want to give scholarships to bright students. And I think I also see my role towards the society. And I mean, we
Mhm.
will soon, maybe in a year's time, we will start giving scholarships for to students who want to study abroad. Okay, or maybe small things like an air ticket to travel abroad.
Is it the scholarship will be provided from your organization or the universities abroad?
By my organization. This
Okay.
is my plan. I mean, this is our vision.
Uh-huh.
Okay, and because for me, yes, I mean it's a for-profit venture, but I want to give what I have received. I mean, I have personally got several scholarships and fellowships, so I think it is also my responsibility to pass it on to others what I have received.
Mhm. Uh, when you talk about education, do you see education as a basic human right need for each one to get it?
Yeah, see, I think education is a basic human right, and in many countries, it is already a fundamental right. For example, right to education is a fundamental right in India. It is a fundamental right in most of the countries. So I see it as a basic human right.
Mm. In country, for example, like India, there is 70% who are youth, and also still the poverty rate is high. How education can help fill this gap from poverty to move people to development?
See, as far as I understand, I'm not an expert on poverty. But for example, India is a very diverse country. We have certain states where the literacy rate, I mean, that means the people who can read and write is 100%, okay, in southern Indian states. So there we can clearly see growth,
Mhm,
okay. And so I think education can play an important role. So far, the Indian states or the regions where education levels are high, growth has also been high. And also the social development in terms of, the discrimination goes down.
mhm.
Yeah,
Uh,
gender discrimination or religion based discrimination. Yes.
okay, I think in the 21st century, people are talking about finding jobs that are reliable in the marketplace and also related to technology. And also, why do you think there is many Indian in the IT sectors like IT, engineering, also, and medicine?
See, there are two reasons for it, Mary. One is, I mean, maths is something which is good. I mean, I don't know the reasons for it, but Indians are considered generally good in mathematics. And second thing is English. I mean, India was a British colony for 200 years.
Mhm,
So they taught English in schools. So these are the two main reasons. And also, second thing is that India is the second biggest country in the world, I mean, in terms of population. So it is very obvious that
mm,
Indians, you will find Indians everywhere.
mm.
Yeah.
How can these large populations interact with people from different parts of the world? For example, they use in India and Africa and globally. How can they come together and form that kind of transformation in education and development that that we want to see?
Uh, See, I see a major role for India because it is the second biggest country in the world in terms of population, and maybe it could be the biggest country in terms of population in, say, 20 years from now. Okay.
Mhm,
It may have the highest population in the world. And so I think India will play a very important role. I mean, India will not just be supplying students to the world. A lot of students will come to India for higher studies. For example, a lot of students from Africa come to India to
52%.
study,
Mhm.
to study engineering. And so I think the role of India will grow in the future.
So, oh, also for the scholarship, do you see it in the long term? Do you see it this kind of a scholarship provided from the government, or like institutions like yours, like your company, will be able to give edu- um, scholarship for people from different part of the world to study in India?
Yeah, see, we are a very small company, but this is my vision to give scholarships, okay, so that people who come from lower middle class or who otherwise cannot afford it
From
should be
outside
able,
the country?
should be able to travel and study and should be able to realize their dreams. Because I mean, I received scholarships, okay, and I would not have been able to study abroad if it was not scholarship. So as I mentioned, I want to pass on what I received.
Mhm.
And my company is still very small, so governments have an important role. And I think governments will keep on increasing their scholarship grants. Okay, yes, I mean the world is undergoing financial crisis due to this COVID situation. But I think once it is over, more and more governments will give scholarships. So I think for young people or those who want to learn something new, it's a great opportunity.
Mhm. I'm talking. I know that you have been also a journalist before, coming from the TV broadcast. You were working in news reports and also doing interview. What make you do this huge shift in your career from journalism to study the education course?
Like, I mean, for last few years, I was thinking that I was not growing, I was not learning anything new. I never thought that I will become an education consultant. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, once I left my job, I was trying to discover myself, what I could do.
So you left
Uh,
the job first, and then you were
yeah.
seeking for something.
And I mean, I wanted to be a teacher, I wanted to be a traveler. Um, so I think now this education consultancy, um, I mean, is not connected to teaching, but somehow I see it is connected. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so this is something which happened. It was not planned. Okay. Because I saw a lot of scope in it, and I thought it could be a profitable venture also. So and I'm also very passionate about it. I strongly believe that one should go abroad for higher studies because it can be a life changing experience, it can be a lifetime opportunity, and it can give you a new perspective. I mean, which can change your life forever in a positive way.
Mm-hmm. Will you be thinking one day of going back to TV journalism?
No, I don't think so. I'm happy with what I'm doing. I love uh, this job, and I'm happy that I've created an organization where people can work, and I'm happy to employ young people. So I'm happy with what I'm doing.
Yeah, the reason I'm asking, maybe there is a lot of people in your position now. They just have jobs, but they want to do something else. But it's like the career shift is hard to do it. So and they are maybe they are stuck in the same place for a long time. So maybe they are thinking maybe one day I will go back to my previous jobs. I don't want to do my job. So what did you tell them in this case?
I think, having fun in life is very important. Okay, Mary, we put a lot of seriousness and ego into what we do. I think one should do things for love of things. One should do things for fun. Keep your ego aside, okay? And uh, I mean, follow your heart. And I think doing things for love is very important.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, don't be too much logical, okay? Don't think too much. Have fun. Do not, I mean, keep your ego aside. Be ready to take risk. Be adventurous. Be ready to give, and things will be easy.
Mm-hmm.
Trust me.
Mm-hmm. Uh, what are kind of the skills that you recommend a student can or young people right now can learn from the market for the market job place?
I think honesty is very important. Okay, reach out to people. Don't wait for them to reach out to you. If you want something, be proactive. Right. I mean, we are living in an amazing world. You can write a mail and it can reach anywhere in the world within few seconds.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Reach out to people, do online searches, be passionate about what you are doing, do research. I mean, this online, like world provides us with a lot of opportunities. Verify information from multiple sources. Be positive, read a lot, and have fun. I mean, don't be very serious.
Mm. Which jobs for the upcoming like 10 years, which job will be more provided in the marketplace? Which kind
Uh,
of
I
jobs?
I think IT will be a predominant sector, then digital marketing, nursing. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
there is a huge shortage of nurses across the world, and this COVID has shown us this thing. Then social workers,
Mm-hmm.
uh, then psychiatrists, uh, counselors,
Mm-hmm.
people who are expert on artificial intelligence. Language skills will be very important.
Mm-hmm.
And then there will be new fields like digital health,
Wow, digital health.
yeah, and robotics, and then also a lot of interdisciplinary sciences will emerge. For example, I mean, who would have seen the connection between a disease and international relations?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now COVID has taught us that how a disease can be connected to international relations.
Mm-hmm.
So you may be studying political science, but be ready to study some quantum physics, okay,
Mm-hmm.
or be ready to read study about some biology also. uh, so I mean, be open to new influences,
Mm-hmm.
and as I mean, there will be jobs in professions like nursing, counseling,
Mm-hmm.
uh, and psychiatrist, then
Also, when you talk
IT.
about the IT, which sector exactly? Because I think also there is the digital mass communication, digital journalism.
Yeah,
What is it called?
yeah. See,
Digital
I'll tell you.
security engineers.
I think IT, coding will be there, and there will be requirement for coders. There will be requirement for programmers, software programmers. There will be requirement for people who can do machine learning, artificial intelligence, robotics, mechatronics, and then aeronautical engineers. So, I mean, these professions will be in demand.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Also, policy making.
yeah. Policy making will always be in demand. For example, technology policy can be a new field, okay,
Okay.
because now technology is becoming part of policy making. So we will see emergence of a lot of new fields.
Hmm. When it comes to languages, exactly, how does that work? Which language, for example, should people learn? Because there is a lot of people who have also skills for languages, and mostly most of these communities, take for example India
Yeah,
and or Africa, like globally, language is not considered as one of the skills. People are going more to technology, medicine, specific fields that has grown like culturally with the world population. How
yeah.
this perspective can change.
I think languages, English will remain an important language. Okay, so English is important, and then Chinese is an important language.
Mhm.
I would recommend German. I would recommend Portuguese, Spanish, and Hindi. Okay,
Mhm.
Hindi is from here. So I think, I mean, if you are planning an international career, so focus on one of the languages which I have recommended.
Okay. Uh, how do you envision yourself in the future and your organization, CH?
See, I we plan to expand, um, to start with in Europe, and we plan to start our operations in Europe next year, and I mean get into countries which are not very popular with Indian students as of now. For example, Hungary, Slovakia, Slovenia.
Mhm. What will you be telling me in the future if we did the same interview today, in the
Mhm.
few 10 years from now?
I think I would tell you that how many scholarships we have given.
Mhm. That's a great things to hear.
Yeah.
Yeah. So actually, I have enjoyed talking to you. Yeah, but just I have a quick questions. You have done all this scholarship abroad in Germany, in the United States. Do you still right now have contact for those networking that you have met in different countries? You
Yeah,
communicate.
I'm still in touch with most of my friends. While traveling, I made many friends. But yes, I'm in close touch with them through Facebook Messenger, WhatsApp. Yeah, I'm in touch with them.
And this is also one of the important skills that
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
opportunity should students should take into account.
Yeah, and networking is very important in life. I mean, your success also depends on your networks.
hmm And then from there, also how the person can, after the education, how the person can sell their skills.
I think you should be honest. Okay, if people like you, they would like to engage with you, and if they don't like you, then they do not want to engage with you. So I think being honest is very important, and having good communication skills is very important. Being a good team player is important. Having critical thinking skills is important. So
Mhm.
if with these skills, I think you can succeed.
But how can I go to the public and represent myself? For example, I just graduate from a school, I have skills, but how can I reach to people out and tell them about this is what I can do, this is how I can help the organization?
See, I think, having a mentor always is important. For example, reach out to your professors and have a good bonding with them, like they can recommend you for jobs, or reach out to someone from your college or university, an alumni, okay, who can recommend you for a job. So you have to focus on building networks.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay. I think we have already reached the end of our show. You haven't. Can you teach me two words in Urdu or Hindi?
Hindi. Namaste.
Namaste. Namaste
Namaste.
is the hi. I know that. How
Namaste is the way of greeting. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, the way you're
Yes.
greeting, namaste. And how do you say education?
Shiksha.
Shiksha. Okay,
Yes.
that's good to know. Shiksha again. Okay.
Yeah.
Um, nice to talk to you, Chandra.
Thank you, Mary. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, I
Thank you.
really enjoy your time. So,
Thank
thank you, and also thank you for all the viewers who watched the show today. Our topic today was overseas education opportunities and how it can help individuals in achieving their goals. I was joined by Chandra Shekher. He's the founder of CHSH, Affordable Overseas Study Consultancy, PVT Limited, from India. And nice to talk to you, Chandra. Hope to see you again
thank
soon. Okay. And okay, thank you for everyone who watched us. Also, send me your suggestions about how we can make this discussion more interactive, how we can talk and discuss education also from different perspectives. For the upcoming shows. Is the end of our show for today. I was the host, Mary Apollo. I hope to see you soon in a different topic in the next show. Thank you. Enjoy your day and have a good day. And don't forget to share the video on the platform with your friend and subscribe to the Facebook page for direction, and also subscribe to the YouTube channel, and as well follow the Instagram. Bye. Have a good day. Thank you.